Okay, everyone. This is a video tutorial on how to outline and prepare for your Romeo and Juliet essay. As you know, we have done videos like this in the past to help guide you in your essay writing. Before we got into this outline, we should have reviewed in a PowerPoint presentation the process of this essay. So now you should be ready to begin. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to walk you through the original steps to help prepare to outline your ideas for this essay, as well as how to write the introduction paragraph, which will be the first paragraph of your essay. Okay, so everybody should have this document open, Romeo and Juliet Essay and Outline for 2025. It should look like this. If you do not have this document open, please pause the video now and make sure you have this tab open. So if you don't have the document, please pause now and open it up. Okay, I'm assuming that you have it open. So what I want to do is quickly review the brainstorming process first, review the prompt, and then get to outlining the essay. So as you can see, the directions say you must write an essay on the following prompt. Now, we already talked about this prompt in the PowerPoint presentation, but I'm going to review it again anyways. So the prompt says, the play Romeo and Juliet is a tragic love story. Tragedy in literature refers to the suffering and eventual downfall of the main protagonists, which are your main characters. In this essay, argue who or what is most to blame for the tragedy that occurs in the play. Support your position with 3 strong claims or reasons. Okay, so the part in red that you see here, this is the part you'll be responding to in your essay. Argue who or what is most to blame for the tragedy that occurs in the play. And to support that with positions, or support your position with 3 strong claims or reasons. So the first thing you need to do before you even write this essay is to kind of brainstorm some ideas on what you're going to write about. Now, the key words, as we talked about as we went over this prompt, was who or what is to blame for the tragedy that occurs in the play. Meaning, characters can be blamed, but also other aspects can be blamed outside of characters. And I'm going to give you a couple examples, but I'm not going to give you enough because I want you to come up with some of your own. Right now, you notice I have numbers 1, 2, and 3 here because you need at least 3 in your essay, because each one of your body paragraphs will focus on a different who or what that you feel is to blame for the tragedy. You can feel free to outline some more ideas and then choose the 3 that you want to write about. But you're only going to write about 3, so you have to write about 3. So I want to make sure that that's clear. So something that you can outline, like maybe you can pick a particular character that you think deserves a lot of blame for the tragedy. So to make it easy, I'm just going to write Romeo's name down, all right? Because I can find many ways that I feel Romeo is involved or can be considered blameful or has guilt for the tragedy that happens in this play. Okay. So you can write down characters if you have specific characters, and you can do 3 characters if you want. However, if you want to make your essay a little bit more thought-provoking or a little bit more broader in range, you don't have to blame just characters. For example, you could also choose an aspect or a quality or a trait or some kind of flaw or something else that can be blamed. So, for example, one thing that I feel students often blame for the tragedy of Romeo and Juliet is the feud between the Montagues and the Capulet. So I'm going to type that there. So if you notice, it doesn't have to just be characters. It could also be different aspects. Of course, you could add more too. You do not have to have just 3. You can do 4, 5, 6. As many as you want. And then think about which 3 you would like to write about in your essay. So what I'd like you to do right now is to pause the video and think about and brainstorm a list, like I have here, of different people or different aspects or different things that you would blame for the tragedy that occurs in this play. So pause the video and come up with a list now on your own document. All right, if you're back, I'm assuming that you have some ideas outlined, which now you're ready to move to outlining your essay. So I'm just going to delete some things here, clean this up, and I can scroll down. So now it says, after you have outlined some ideas above, you're ready to outline your entire essay. First, develop a thesis statement that responds to the prompt and identifies clearly what your essay will be arguing. Then, proceed to outline all your paragraphs. Use the outline below to help you organize. And if you remember, if you do these outlines correctly, it's basically going to write the essay for you. In fact, I kind of have some guidance here. All right. So what we're going to focus on right now is you writing the first introductory paragraph for your essay. This is the first paragraph of your essay. It has 3 parts, so I'm going to quickly review them, and then we're going to work on them. The first part is to write an attention-grabbing opening statement or statements, and that it's basically opening up by briefly addressing the topic of your essay, which we'll get to. Then you want to give a little background information about the text that you're writing about. You want to assume, again, that your reader hasn't read this play, so you have to add a little bit of specific information about the text or whatever it is you're writing your essay on. And in that background information, you should talk about the title of the play, the author of the play, and then basically 2 or 3 sentence summary of the main plot. You don't want to give away the whole story, but a general information. If someone were to ask you, what is Romeo and Juliet about in 2 to 3 sentences, what would you say in very, very general terms? That just gives your reader a little insight into the text that you're writing about. And then you move to writing the thesis statement. And as you know, from the past, the thesis statement is the most important part of your essay, because the thesis statement is what ultimately your paper will be arguing and trying to prove. So I'm going to help give you guidance into writing this thesis statement, because you want to write the thesis statement before you write the attention-grabbing statement or the background information, because the thesis statement itself is the most important part. Then you can go back to doing the other parts. So you're kind of working in reverse a little bit. And again, this is very similar to what we did on our previous essays in this class. So again, your thesis statement is one clear statement that identifies the main argument of your essay and 3 strong claims or reasons to support that argument. So here's how it would look. So I got to think about the topic of this essay. The topic is who or what is to blame, and we go back up here, who or what is to blame for the tragedy that occurs in this play. Right? So you can make a statement very clearly. Now, you don't have to use the exact words that I use, but if you wish to do so, you're allowed to for guidance. But if you can say it in your own words or be a little bit more unique or a little bit more creative or just write it in your own way, you're welcome to do that too. Right? So my thesis statement might look something like this. There are many characters and qualities that can be blamed. Actually, I don't like the word qualities. I'm going to delete that. There are many characters and aspects, like I used earlier, that can be blamed for the tragedy in the play. And I'm going to do a semicolon. However, I like those transition words. However, the 3 aspects most to blame for the tragic events in the story are, and then what I would do is I would list my 3 that I am going to be writing about. So you'd want to go back up there and look at the 3 that you're writing about, and you would list those right there. Instead of doing an ellipsis like I have right here, you would list them out. That way, it's a very clear direction for your paper, and it tells your reader at the end of at the conclusion of your introduction what the rest of the paper is going to be arguing. So what I'd like you to do right now is to pause this video and write your own thesis statement. And after you write it, if you want to check it with either of us to see if it is correct or it can be improved, we'd be more than happy to come around and help you write your thesis statement or to evaluate it. So pause the video and write your own thesis now in this box. Okay, if you're back, then I'm assuming that you have this box complete and that you have your thesis statement written, which means now you can go back up to the beginning of your introduction of your paragraph. Because now that you know what you're writing about, now it's way easier to write an opening sentence or a hook or an attention-grabbing sentence because you have an idea of what your paper is going to be discussing. So what you want to do now, and this is going to have to come off the top of your head, and this is where you have to be a little creative. You want to write a sentence or two to begin your essay that briefly introduces the topic of your essay. Now remember, the topic of your essay is not necessarily who or what you're blaming, but the topic of your essay is the idea of tragedy and that people can be blamed for tragedy or tragic events in general. So you can start off with a rhetorical question that to draw your reader in. You can start off with an important fact about maybe blame or guilt or tragic events. You can start off with any kind of statement, a powerful statement, something that you think will help draw your reader into your essay from the very first line or two. It does not have to be long. You're not writing a paragraph in this box. You're writing one, two sentences, maybe three at the most. All right, but one or two is all you really need to try to draw your reader into your essay. And so this is going to involve some thinking, and like I said, after you do it, you can always check it with someone to see how it sounds or to get some kind of feedback for it. So pause the video and try to write an opening, attention-grabbing statement or statements in this box now. Okay, if you're back then, I'm assuming that you have this box complete, and you're now ready to simply fill in the background information for your introduction. Now, if you notice, I already kind of did a small portion of it for you just to kind of make it easy. I gave you a little sentence starter here because you want to talk about the title of your play, and I already have that written, Romeo and Juliet. You want to talk about the author of that play, I already have that here with William Shakespeare. And then you want 2 to 3 sentence summary of the basic plot of the story. So if you notice, it says here in William Shakespeare's play, Romeo and Juliet, the play. And then what you would do is ultimately write it. What is the play basically about in 2 to 3 sentences? What did it focus on in 2 or 3 sentences? You're not giving away the whole story. You're not talking about major key events that occurred in the story. You're just giving a basic general synopsis. If someone were to ask you, what was this play about in your own words in 2 to 3 sentences, what would you say? And I'd like you to write that right here in this portion of this box right now. So pause the video and fill out the background information now. Okay, if you're back, then I'm assuming that all 3 of these boxes are filled. And if that's the case, the introduction paragraph of your essay is already written. Because if you read these different boxes in a row, it'll all kind of fit together nice and fluently. And if it doesn't, we can figure out a way to kind of make it connected as well. So your introduction paragraph is done and outlined, and you'll be ready to move to your body paragraphs, which we'll focus on tomorrow in this class. So for today, I just want you to make sure that your introduction is done. So if you've done this all correctly, it should be done. Congratulations, the first paragraph of your essay is already outlined, and you're ready to move on to your body paragraphs. Okay, good luck to you, and thanks.